a structure of mystical and alien origin, emanating particles of abstract perspectives and reflection into the expansive nightscape to those who know where to listen. This is Monolith de Mythos, the Monstruos Studio Podcast. But I figured, just start off the episode just talking about ourselves and how we kind of know each other and what we kind of do. So would you want to start that? Or
you go ahead first.
I'll go ahead first. Okay, so I'm Manny, or Manuel. I don't really care either way. I started off the Monstruos Studio thing as my Instagram page for my photography, but now I'm kind of just spreading it out to also doing videos, painting, just different whatever projects. I'll just have it under the Monstruos Studio kind of umbrella. I don't know if there's a word for it. There is probably a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. But
yeah,
I've been to film school. I got out of that with an associate's. That was pretty fun for a few years, but I kind of dropped out of it because it's way too damn stressful to try, and it's not easy. No. You go and you watch a movie and you don't ever really think about what it takes to do everything. Now, because of film school, that's all I see when I watch anything. I see the effort. I see all the hardship, all the struggle at times too, especially.
Yeah, you made me fear film school.
Yeah.
Even if I wanted to go to it.
Tuition, I would say, is second of what you should fear of film school over the stress of just pre-production, production, post-production.
Yeah.
I ended up going on the editing track because I found it was just more fun, more peaceful to just sit behind a computer and just kind of learn everything from there. Editing, Photoshop, After Effecks, VFX editing. But that's all as far as I've gone. And I'll probably I have some ideas. I want to go with it, but it's just trying to go into it. You just kind of realize, oh wow, it's.
I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah, really, it's just the logistics of actually getting it done, and also having to learn. Just it's difficult, but yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah,
just like with this podcast, it's just kind of starting off.
That's the best thing. Just instead of thinking about it for so long, just fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
People be surprised how important just hitting that record button is. You just fucking film it, record it, even if it's audio, video, just get it done. Mm-hmm. Many other people can say that too, but it's actually doing it. Mm-hmm. I feel that's the toughest part. Just doing it, even though it's gonna be terrible, might not be the best, might be a good start.
Exactly.
The thing too is, you're a very independent person. I think that makes it tougher.
Oh yeah.
For filmmakers and editors when they don't want to work with too many people because. That's where, ideas might not be created like they wanted it to be. So it ends up being more time consuming and more money being involved and,
Exactly. I don't want to have to hold an audition.
Right. I think that's still a problem today, even with famous movie companies and TV shows. They still have a stigma of working with each other and how probably all that is.
Mm-hmm. Why have somebody else do it when you could do it yourself? Well, when it comes to actors, you can't really do that. You need to actually find the right person. You need to actually work with them. I just rather just do everything myself. I think that's kind of one of the things that I'm also really into stop motion animation because usually it's all done by one person, and it's also you have you're working with the camera and subjects, so you have depth of field involved in that. Unlike something like 2D animation.
When you mean animation, what type of animation?
Stop motion.
Stop motion. Okay.
Because there's also 3D animation where that's all computer generated. So it would also help to have an idea of depth of field and kind of having different light sources but also textures on your environment, or there are like different textures on like what the character is wearing or their skin. But
Yeah.
like stop motion animations applies the same kind of practical everything, filmmaking, but also just being animation. So I made like some stuff that I really like. A lot of stuff that I look back on, I was like, well, like I had like a really interesting vision going to it, but like kind of watching it, there's some parts I'm just like, I'm not really friends with that person anymore, or like, oh my god.
Which is you're talking about your stuff on YouTube, right? Like some of that old stuff.
Yeah, but also it's just like, oh, the cringe kind of video announcements. I love the video announcements kind of campy stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. Are you talking about like back in school? Like
back in
those video announcements?
Back in high school, like I look at that stuff as kind of like charming.
Right.
It's funny that it's just so like bad, but I still felt like I had a better idea of what I was doing than like everyone else in like the video announcements classes. But
Now, would the whole school see that?
yeah.
See, that's an important role that you were playing there. You're giving announcements to the entire school, and it was up to you.
Yep.
I always saw those people on school, or when I was in high school, and I saw those people on the announcements. I was like, damn, and I saw other people goofing around during all that shit's happen, or while that's playing. Some people would be paying attention. They're like, this shit's funny, and I thought it was entertainment. Like
Exactly.
Like I don't even know. Like I wonder when they even started doing that. I wonder how far that goes back of some of the students doing announcements.
I'm pretty sure that they would have had that during like the videotape era.
I would love to watch one of those. See how awful they probably are. Maybe even better. Who knows?
That would be amazing. Just to have a tape of it. I don't know. I've been into kind of VHS tapes lately.
See, my thoughts of it would be like, what the hell they were talking about. Probably, let's say 1995 if they were making those. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of shit were they talking about on an announcement? I wouldn't say it would be as probably humorous as like some of the now stuff is, or even like when you were doing it. But it would be even kind of interesting to even try to recreate one of those things, like as a sketch or something.
Yeah, that's why like I have a VHS camcorder my dad gave me like years ago, and I'm still trying to find a working battery for it. The only way I can get it on is to have it actually plugged in with the charger, because it comes with another plug that I can plug into the camcorder, and that's able to turn it on. And I've tried testing it, and it does record in color, and it does actually pick up audio with the mic built into it. It's just really bad, but it also has an external output for it, so I could put on a good microphone, and I can use like the shitty VHS recording, but have crisp, good audio. Well, probably crisp going into it, and then I don't know what the hell the VHS tape is going to do it, but whatever it does, it's going to be great. And like,
yeah.
That's another thing that we do. We'll sometimes do random projects together. I would say our latest and greatest, though, is definitely the Final Fight music video.
Yeah. Which was literally planned like in one day, wasn't it?
Kind of,
like,
yeah.
Was it even planned?
Like,
I think I just said, hey, I'm coming over, let's film this.
Yeah, definitely.
Were we getting into that now, or?
Oh, yeah, we can, but like actually before, so we could probably talk about what you do, and then we could talk about our collaboration.
Well, I'll keep it short.
Yeah, I went on for a bit.
I didn't do as much as... No, it's fine. We got into other topics. We had to establish that what you do. I don't do as much as Manuel, aka Manny. So my name is Trevor, and aka Trey Spells. Trey Spells is my rapper alias name.
Trey Spells.
You guys can check it out on YouTube. I'm sure we can post links somewhere around here.
Oh yeah.
But you could go to YouTube easily and just type in Trey Spells. Anyways, I rap about like metaphysical shit, alien shit, a few things here and there. I've been doing that since 2014, and which I think I met Manny in, 2015, 2016? Had to be around one of those years, right? 2015?
Yeah, I would say 2015.
I remember it was around October, November. All I know is the first time I met Manny was we were playing South Park, The Stick of Truth.
That's right.
So whenever that game came out, that's when I remember. That was the first time I was over.
Yeah.
What other better way to meet people is when they're playing South Park?
Yep.
That's a whole vibe right there when you go over to someone's place. And I don't know who else was in your room. I think I met Jose there too, and Justin was there, and I don't know if Kyle was there, but it's just like I met this group of people and I was just like, man, we are all literally playing the South Park game right now. This is, and I was doing some what's that?
We're just watching all like the messed up shit unfold in that game.
Yeah,
it was wonderful.
And it was a perfect energy too, because it's like, I was dealing with shit with my ex-girlfriend. I was just like, man, I had to jump out of that reality and do some more fun things. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean like go to the bar and get drunk, all that stuff. I mean like actually get into like some funny shit, because I don't find a lot of stuff. Like I find stuff funny, but like I have a hard time finding comedy, so I always go back to the old stuff like South Park and all that shit. So that was a perfect thing. So anyways, that's how I met Manny, and I met him through a coworker that used to work with me,
Justin.
And yes, Justin. Maybe he'll be featured on here one day.
One day.
Let's see, back to myself. I did not go to film editing school or film school.
Good.
I did not go to any college.
You don't need it.
I finished my last couple years
Nobody
online high school, so I didn't get to have that whole high school ending, but that's okay. I've seen the movies. I've seen pictures of people. I'm good.
Oh yeah.
It looks like all the same. And I think that's about it. I guess to wrap up me is we're trying something new. Usually I rap on YouTube here and there, not live, but like I got songs on there. You guys can check it out. It's Trey Spells. That's all you have to type in. TREY space SPELLS. If this was on any other platforms in the future, I'm sure we'll drop some links to our channels there.
Oh, yeah.
Manny also has a YouTube channel. He puts out his videos. So what are we getting into first? You brought up the
I'll say like just kind of like continue about with like from talking about ourselves to kind of like our collaboration. Like I said, we did like a music video for Final Fight. Like I would say that's your newest song out right now, if I'm correct.
Right. And if no one knows what I'm talking about, like I said, go to YouTube, type in Trey Spells, the song Final Fight. It's right there. Can't miss it.
With an S.
It's cringy as fuck.
Not a Z.
Yes. Trey Spells with an S.
I always want to put down a Z, but it's with an S.
Yes. I had those moments, and I was like, you know what, Trevor? You're not cool enough to put a Z in there. If it was 2001, it'd be totally a Z.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Trey Spells. Yeah. But, we got to make it...
Frosted tips.
Yeah.
Hookah shell necklace.
It would have been cooler back then, But now things got to be kind of a little proper, but neat and kind of cool at the same time. So we got to go with that Times New Roman type font right now. We got to put the S in there, not a Z.
Then that's like I would say that's like the only thing where we actually got
finished.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about it. Like it was a little random spot in your room, and people liked the video better than the actual song. Well, that's my reviews from what I got. They're like, oh, it's such a cool video. But that just shows you that people want a video rather than just an audio song with a picture on YouTube. That's the times we're in right now.
Brings it all together.
Right. But it was a fun night. It was a fun video.
But I also kind of want to get into next our Relic kind of short film thing. Like the way it started out, like Relic is basically just something like quick little like short film idea I had, where it's just kind of just literally like starring your Trey Spells character and kind of like molding a story based around that.
Should we tell people that like Trey Spells is not just only like an alias of a musician I made? I'm trying to make it like a for those who ever listen to this, I'm trying to make it a artist of all forms, not just a musician, but like I always wanted to do acting too and all that stuff. I think it would be, and I think a lot of musicians already know that when they're in a music video, they're going to be acting and all that stuff. But I also would like to do movies and shows one day too. But Manny's helping me out with the whole just filming something,
Oh yeah.
Just putting something out there, like I was telling people.
And like I said, like I don't like doing auditions and all that. I'd rather just
right,
because you never know. Like
let's just use this one guy.
just like, because you never really know like who you're gonna get, and then once you actually start working with them, like how they're gonna be, and like
right.
I don't know. I guess I'm just not trusting enough of other people like that. So I'd rather they be somebody I've known for a long time.
Yeah, and it's funny because we haven't really known each other that long. Mm-hmm. It's just
and also not only just someone I've known for a long time, but also someone I know who would be capable of actually doing it, or at least be able to put out what I have in mind. Which I feel like...
Well, so it would depend on the other person's attributes, like their ego, attitude, like you said, trustworthiness kind of type thing, and trying to direct you instead of you direct the other person. You know what I mean? Like, I'll throw other ideas out there, but you'll shoot them down if you need to, and I'm not going to fight them. You know what I mean? You're like, obviously, okay, well, that's the way I wanted it, but we're going to do it the way you do it because you're visioning it a certain way. I'm just, in there, type thing. You go off some of my ideas, but you know what I'm saying. But Relic was great. I wish there could have been more.
Like,
should we talk more into Relic? Like how deep you want to go into? I could go super deep on each topic. Man.
Let's go in deep.
So like I love. What, you want to go first, or you want me to just like butt in every now and then?
Yeah.
All right, you go in. I'll just butt in every now and then.
So it would just be kind of just trying to like think of describe it. It's not really that super deep because basically, so you're a guy in your age, and then just kind of like trying to figure out like kind of like what the hell like happened to you in like your past life because you keep having these. I keep forgetting this detail too. I haven't really been on it in like so long. You keep having these dreams about weird creatures, like seeing like beams of light, like
was it aliens too?
And like the whole idea is like like it was aliens kind of thing, because your things are aliens, extraterrestrial, like spiritual stuff, but just trying to like put in the extraterrestrial and the spiritual, mystical. Kind of combine it into like something. So you're having these like dreams about it, like stuff from the past, and you write it all down in like a dream journal, and you go to a forest where you first encountered them, like whatever they are as a kid, and then you kind of like retrace your steps. You like, damn, I'm barely like getting it now. Like mainly it would just be kind of like you wandering the forest. Like short was kind of you wandering the forest. You find where kind of like these aliens would kind of like beam up, or they're like kind of their like bridge or portal from their world or ship or whatever to Earth, and then you find it, and then you're like able to go up, and that was kind of like the end of it. But it also just goes into like ideas behind like spirituality, like how does something from your past affect the way you are now, and those are just kind of like the themes of it, like I wanted to get into.
And it was a great story. It's okay that it wasn't finished because it was kind of like you said, when it deals with other people, we did have to deal with other people. If more people's gonna, not many, just my nephew. But it was just like it's a funny thing about schedules and just getting everything set up. The more you think about it, the more it probably won't happen. You know what I mean? That's probably what it could come down to.
Not until I actually put more time into it, because one of the things that we were steadily struggling, because I wanted to try to make an idea that was also just mainly focused on you, and then we just go out to the forest, camp out for like a weekend, and just get these shots done, try to like scout locations, set up these shots. But I don't know, I don't know really like I want to say it was just allergies or just I just wasn't feeling well that weekend.
Oh yeah.
But,
oh dude, oh bro, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
I forgot you. Okay, so here's a little funny story: is that Manny was setting up his camera, and all of a sudden this dude just falls backwards, and I'm just like, what's going on? Like, we're in the middle of the woods, ain't nobody around for like at least a couple miles. What would you say, like 5 miles to the road? Not even 5 miles, maybe a couple miles to the road, but like another 5 miles to like.
It wasn't that
but
far.
like to the main road was probably a mile or two, right?
Well,
maybe a mile.
Main road, yeah, but like there was like a dirt road
and then
nearby.
But that dirt road to the main road was at least almost a mile, and then that main road to another, like to anywhere like anything could happen. So I was scared. I was like, oh shit, like. And I have no phone signal. We have no phone signal. I'm like, I'm going to have to load this guy up in his car and drive him the fuck out of here. If things got worse, you know what I mean?
Luckily, though, I just got up like right away.
Yes, luckily. It was, by the way, people, we went camping for that night. And
in like Flagstaff?
My typical self, in Flagstaff, and my typical self brought nothing with me. So,
I brought the tent. I brought like a jacket. I brought a blanket,
I literally brought nothing
pillow.
Right. And you know that's what's funny. It sounds like a movie story for like in the future of somebody. Like, I literally brought nothing but movie props.
Mm-hmm.
That is the type of way I thought about the movie. I put the movie first. This little short film before myself. That's how funny. Like, I brought a duffel bag full of props. I didn't even think about like sleeping out there.
You wanted the full experience. Now that I think about, you didn't even want it to. You didn't even want anything to lay on. You could just lay on the dirt. No, actually,
you know what's funny, Manny, is like, why didn't I just sleep in the car?
Actually,
I should have just done that.
Actually, what we should have done was just meditate for like, and then just stay up all night.
Like those other people.
Yeah.
Oh, remember we thought that was the Rangers over there, the Forest Rangers.
That was it.
Oh, dude,
yeah, because we started a campfire and like. I was like, I didn't know if we were allowed to do that or not. But,
I don't think anyone was allowed to.
But we just kept.
But we saw a couple other ones, and that's probably always an iffy thing when you're out there.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that was such a fun trip. And you know what's funny? I don't think I drank alcohol, right?
No,
that whole time.
I don't think you did.
So no wonder I can remember the whole thing so vividly. I'm like, I remember every fucking detail. Mm-hmm. I remember, like, just arriving there, going to sleep, waking up.
So to kind of finish up on... So, I was getting the time-lapse pictures of just clouds in the sky. I was already laying in the tent I was just laying in the tent for an hour. Once I saw on my app that the pictures were done. So I just get up, and I think you asked me about, like... what it was doing.
I asked you a question, I think.
You asked me something like what's the camera doing or something, or how does it work? And I was trying to explain it to you while I was kind of like looking at like where my camera was at, like battery wise or whatever. And I remember I said like, why is everything black? Or like, why is everything going dark?
Yes.
And then I think
you're right.
I think I tried to continue like my answering your question. And then, like, once everything came to, I kind of realized I was on the ground. I'm just like, wait, like, why am I on the ground? Yeah. You were just standing there, like, what are you, like, I don't know.
Dude, I was in shock.
What happened?
I was in shock. I like, you laid down for, like, maybe a couple seconds. So I didn't have to, like, you were already like in kneel mode, looking at your camera.
Yeah.
So you were already like half backwards, and I was just like, please let him get up in the next 10 seconds. But you laid there for a couple seconds, and you at least said something.
Yeah.
And you were like, what did you say? You're like, what happened? Or
yeah, why am I on the ground?
Yeah. Why am I on the ground? Yeah.
Why is
that
everything
fucking
black?
shit scared me,
why
dude.
Why is I on the ground?
I was in shock.
What's
I was
going
like,
on?
You really caught me off guard there.
Okay. All right. So I guess we can go into kind of like what we did or saw, or kind of want to go into like recent stuff.
For sure. You can talk about what you saw first, but don't mention. Is it called Polar Opposites?
Oh, Solar Opposites?
Solar Opposites. Why do I keep calling it popular? What did I call it?
Polar Opposites, because that's the
I don't know why I keep.
because it's the play on words.
Okay.
Don't you get it? Solar,
All right,
because they're
solar
from
opposites.
space.
I want to talk about that
even though
one.
solar has nothing to do really with space. It's just kind of like sunlight or whatever.
It's a cool word to add into a show.
Sounds spacey.
All right, so
it's not.
So it's solar opposites.
Solar Opposites on Hulu just came out. How many episodes are you in?
Oh, bro, I think I'm on episode 5.
Okay.
Is there 16 episodes?
No.
Is there quite a few?
I thought there was more, but I think it's just 9 episodes, maybe 10.
Oh, 9. Oh, so I'm halfway through.
Yeah, just about.
Well, since I brought it up, should we talk about it now then?
We can talk about it a little bit. Well, I won't go super into it. So what did you think of it?
I love it.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
It's finally a cartoon besides Midnight Gospels, which I recently got into too, but that was a whole different vibe.
Oh yeah.
Totally different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show too. Shout out to Midnight Gospels.
Yeah.
I love that show, and I will tell so many
Duncan.
people about that show, Midnight Gospels. I even tried to show my mom Midnight Gospels, but she couldn't get into a cartoon.
Oh yeah.
But and even the last episode, you know what? I tried to show my mom the mom episode.
Oh yeah.
And you remember that was the last episode, remember?
Yeah.
It was like about the mom. Like, I tried to show her. I was like, hey, watch this. And she's like, I'm not into this. I'm like, you're not even listening.
Exactly. It's like.
And I was trying to show her. It's like, she'll understand. But I like every show. I loved it. I have a coworker. She's about 20 years old, right? And she has no idea about any of this like consciousness awareness type stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But she's watched each episode 2 to 3 times. Mm-hmm. And that just shows me that she is trying to find like a spiritual awakening and trying to find like answers within her. She even had told me her favorite episode. I'm just like, damn. Like, I don't even know who I would have talked to about this show if it wasn't for Netflix showing me it. And then plus I got you that you watch this show too. I don't know how this just turned into Midnight Gospels.
I know.
But let's just talk about Midnight. Let's get Midnight Gospels out of here already because, like, it's already done. We both watched it. Let's get Midnight Gospels out of here. I love the show. Do you love that show? Let me know.
I like the show, but I do have some things about it. I will, say, Pendleton Ward, I think he's a great, kind of cartoon guy. I loved Adventure Time.
Was that the main character?
The creator?
Or
what?
Oh, the creator.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Pendleton Ward.
Pendleton Ward.
Yeah.
So he's the creator of Midnight Gospels.
Yeah. But it's...
What other... does he have any other work?
Adventure Time. On Cartoon Network.
Adventure Time. Okay. I don't know if I watched that.
You should. It's great.
I might have heard of it. You might have showed me it before, but I just didn't know the name.
I don't think I ever did, but I would highly recommend it, especially... It's on Hulu, watching it from beginning to end. It'll take a few days. It'll take a week to watch it all, but... That one's great because each episode is only 15 minutes long, or 11, 12 minutes. Everything's really condensed and paced well. I feel like a lot of the episodes of Adventure Time. Midnight Gospel is more rough, especially just kind of the flow. Everything is very more stagnant.
Right,
but that's very
it's
stylistic
super
in its
fucking
own.
Fast.
What was that?
The animation, the cartoon, all that stuff is so fast.
Oh yeah.
You can't, if you look at your phone for maybe a minute or two, they're already in a new setting within instant.
They're
just... Is Adventure Time like that too, or no?
Kinda.
And it's about consciousness shit type stuff too?
Oh yeah. The first couple seasons, aren't really.
I never knew that shit.
But then once you go into the third season, it starts to actually oh wow, there's actually a whole lore to everything. While the first couple seasons are just random, just a boy and his dog going on adventures, to save the princess in this crazy, fucked up world, land of Boo. But there's actually a whole lore to it that is actually our world that went through an apocalypse, and through that apocalypse, magic emerged. So now there's a candy land, there's an ice land, a fire land, and it's really, really interesting. And also, the main character goes through reincarnations of he was a butterfly.
Just
he was
Midnight Gospel.
It's
right?
It's wild.
You know what? I'll. Is each episode only 10 minutes?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, it's
dude.
you know what? I'm going to spend my whole Sunday on Adventure Time.
Do it.
It's got some beautiful ratings.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like loving it. There's not like one person that doesn't like it. See, I'm not a cartoon guy, right? Like I haven't jumped onto cartoons, right? But I watch Midnight Gospels episode after episode. Like it clicked with me. And maybe there's cartoons out there that has already been previously released and I have not watched. All right, so Manny, how do you feel about Midnight Gospel?
I thought it was really good, especially just hearing the kind of conversations and topics that Duncan, or I already forget like what the main guy's name is. The conversations are taken from his own podcast, and he has like people like go on, and like I don't know, like I can't, like it's hard to imagine how they kind of worked around like the animations based on what they're talking about. Really funny how all this crazy stuff was going on around them while they were just nonchalantly talking about, you know, death, drugs, prison, immortality, magic, all that stuff.
So when it comes down to that being real podcast being edited into a cartoon, Adventure Time was not like that, right?
No, Adventure Time had its own like storyline. It had its own like.
Okay. So was Midnight Gospel doing something brand new?
I want to say so. Like YouTubers, they would just take like 2 minutes of like a segments from a podcast, maybe different segments on a podcast, and create their own thing, have their own like weirdness going on in it, but not in the way that Midnight Gospel did it. Midnight Gospel was more like linear in their kind of conversations.
Just because I don't watch a lot of cartoons,
Like, you didn't really take it in as a cartoon. You took it more of just like,
yeah, like even if you didn't even have your phone, like looking at your phone, and if you're watching it and listening to it, I feel like you're listening to it 80% than watching it. You know what I mean?
That's how I see it for when I was watching it, because I knew like the visuals ultimately didn't really matter too much. But it was
especially me, I was hitting my little THC vape to it, right? And I would get so lost into the conversation that they were having, and like it was almost like the animation was in the background.
Yeah, which I want to say was kind of like one of the issues of it is that, you know, the conversation was much more interesting than the animation, and I think I felt like that's one of the things that hindered it, as well as like they're kind of like overarching like story throughout the whole season, kind of like in the background with the character and like his family. Like his sister had kind of like he and his sister kind of had a falling out after I think their parents both died, but the mom might have still been alive. She just like has like a really terminal illness, but like the main guy was having a hard time coping with it, so he went on his own. He wanted to go live on the like the ribbon, the space ribbon. I already forget what it's called. And then but as like the show was going on and like it brought up those details, and then it just kind of ends without really wrapping that up. And with also like to where like it could just end like right at this point without really like spoiling like what happens at the end. But also it's just like it could like set itself up for a second season, but also it just ends at a point where it's just like, wait, you didn't resolve anything. That's kind of like what set it back for me though. Like he was kind of like running away from stuff, but like I guess it kind of like symbolically he reached a point where he wasn't gonna run away. He was gonna kind of face what he's facing head on.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it just didn't really feel like super conclusive because he wasn't able to do everything. So final thoughts on Midnight Gospel?
Yes. I love the show. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm going to give it an 7.5 out of 10. Mostly because I give the 7.5 on the audio, the podcast of it. But the visuals are very nice. But it could have went more with the show more. Like, it could have described more of the stories that it was doing with the podcast, which is not really happening, but it's okay.
It did and it didn't. Like, it fit, like, it had, like, similar, like, it kind of fit thematically of, like, what they were talking about, but it also was just mostly going off doing its own thing.
Right.
But, like, again, like, the overall, like, story of the season kind of fell flat in favor for like the podcast and like crazy like animation element of it. So yeah, I would say like 7 out of 10. All right, so let's get into the film topic of the episode. It is Antrum, the deadliest film ever made.
Yes, Antrum.
So it's directed by David Amito and Michael Licini. A teenage girl and her younger brother go camping out for a night to dig a hole to hell to free the soul of their late dog, Maxine, and kind of get into some evil, satanic bullshit.
Very intense. I can't recall if so it's a found footage but also a cinematic movie, right?
Yes, because they the documentary aspect is only in the very beginning and the very end of the movie,
Right.
and everything else in between, like 90%, is the actual showing the actual movie. That's kind of like what I appreciate of it, because I was going into it, I was a little worried that they were going to break it up into doing interviews, and they're going to be over explaining everything, and kind of just like, oh well, I kind of already know that the movie is not real, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of like go into it and just absorb into it myself. But luckily they didn't do that.
Yeah.
It's just they kind of like briefly talk about it. Was like, they give their little legends, tales of like what's going on, what went down.
Yeah.
In
and
screenings.
To be honest, I actually when I first saw the trailer, I didn't know that was going to be part of the movie. I thought that was just, part of the trailer, like them talking about it.
Yeah, I feel like the trailers might be a little bit misleading. That it does,
As most are.
the tagline, like, it kind of like gives it away that it is sort of kind of like got a documentary style to it. Just cause calling it the deadliest film ever made.
Yeah, that's a big statement though.
Yeah, but like given how very little there is of the documentary aspect of it, it kind of like makes you wonder why you even have that in at all.
It's true. So let me ask you guys this question: how many movies actually try to even do that? Because as I was reading comments, people were talking about The Ring, and the people that remember The Ring the most would be that little folk tale type thing. I don't know what you want to call it. Is, oh, if you watch this movie in 7 days, you will die. And
yep.
And I remember, being 6th grade when that movie came out. That's what people were talking about, like the scariest movie ever made. As you get older, you realize it's not the scariest movie ever made,
Mm-hmm.
but that's when the deadliest movie ever made. I think it reminds a lot of people of The Ring just because of that one statement. So So I what do you call it? I give props to the director for adding it, just to reel some people in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And they kind of go like over the top with it too, I feel like, because there is that 30-second warning right before they actually start playing it. It says we will now begin playing the full, unedited, uncut, cursed movie. It plays it for 10 seconds, and then it fades in a 30-second countdown. So now you're waiting almost a whole minute just reading this document. It was a little overblown to me.
It was a legal notice, right?
Yeah.
A legal notice. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie that had a legal notice on it. Do you ever remember seeing a movie with a legal notice?
Jackass.
Okay. Yes. The perfect example. So let's jump into the movie then, huh?
Okay.
So after the legal notice.
So supposedly this movie was made in the late 70s. It starts off with a dying dog. So just get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are in the back seat of my mom's driving, and like the little brother Nathan is all like, "Oh, where's Maxine?" And the mom's all like, "Oh, she's fucking dead."
Right.
Not really. She didn't really say that, but it was kind of in that. She had that tone. She kind of looked like she wasn't.
Now, are we giving away spoilers on this, or?
We can eventually we can
We'll just maybe title it spoilers alert.
we can't give a spoiler alert, but honestly, I feel like there's not really much to spoil because there's not really too much that goes on. After the scene of driving home from the veterinarian, it just goes to the older sister and younger brother. They start walking in the woods, and they set up their campsite, and then they just start digging a hole. And the little brother's like, oh, what are we doing? And the sister's like, oh, I already told you. We're digging a hole to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why are we digging a hole to hell?
It was a pretty big hole.
Oh yeah, they made it. They got pretty deep. Not as deep as like the movie. Instead of like chapters, the movie is told in layers. So as they go deeper and deeper, they start seeing some weird things going on around their camp. They hear some noise. I think they heard a dog. The older sister, her name was Aurelie. She kept Maxine's dog collar with her. Mm. And they originally left it at that sign in the beginning before they went camping. They left it there, but she took it without Nathan, the younger brother, knowing, so that she could kind of plant it like somewhere. And when they went to go find like where they heard the sound, she could be like, "Oh, look, we found the color." It was something like that. I kind of forget. I think that might have been done later on, but it does bring up that Aurelie is doing this whole camping trip as the whole like digging down to hell thing as a way to help her little brother cope with the dog dying.
Yeah,
and she goes kind of all out. She has her like a whole big book. And it's like it's really funny too because they don't go into that right away. Because as soon as they open the book to do like the chapters or layers, it's all like shitty like hand drawn like demons and like writings.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of funny. Just like oh what who the hell drew this? Some child, and it was like oh yeah, it was just some child that drew this. Mm-hmm. She was reading instructions on it, but it was all everything.
And you know
everything was made up by her.
So sometimes when I'm watching a movie, I try to put myself into a certain character's point of view, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously, we don't have many characters to choose from this movie. There's only like literally less than 5 in this whole movie. But obviously, you gotta be the kid, right? Like obviously, he's the main character. So it's like you're paying attention to this book, so you're just like going with it, like shit's gonna get real, like
you're going with it in the perspective, the mindset and perspective of this younger kid.
And remember how they kept doing the chapters?
Yeah,
and you're just like,
and
shit.
He was getting really into it too.
And you're just like, shit, man, the chapters are getting more intense as we go on.
Yeah, which like made it like. Which was kind of weird at first once you do realize that this was all just made up by the sister. Because, why are they still kind of going with this if it's just all made up? Right. But then the younger brother, as they dig deeper and literally, like, they go deep, they go from one layer to the next, literally, like, one chapter to the next.
Right.
He starts, like, seeing more, like, weird shit. He starts, like, saying... like stuff like, oh, they're coming, or something like that. Like, what was it? What was he saying? Like,
I can't remember too much. I want to ask you a question. If you remember when he's I think, do you remember the boat scene?
I do.
Where he's watching outside the water and she's in the boat with some guy?
He had a dream. That's right. After like the first night, he had a dream where he heard a noise, so he went out of the tent. He snuck out of the tent.
Yeah.
And he saw a boat, like it's a 2-person fishing boat on the shore of a lake.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't catch this at first either. But I learned this when I read Dante's Inferno, and some people might know this. Is so when you're on a boat and you're like either going to hell, I think that's basically
in Dante's Inferno they have a boat from.
You have a guy that like I forgot what he's called, but He's
Me
that.
too.
He's the boat rower.
Yeah,
I
the
think
elbow rower.
I think he wears like 2 coins on his eye or something, or you have to give him a coin, something like that.
If he sees like a demon rowing the boat and she's in it, does he try to go after her? I think.
No, he woke up from that dream.
Okay.
So nothing else happened from that. But I'm guessing that's what they were trying to go with, just like that Dante's Inferno
Of course.
scene.
Oh yeah.
And I think we should tell people this has a lot of Dante Inferno references in it, with the whole like
Oh yeah, of course.
with the story. It's so he really believes everything that she says or she shows him, right?
Yeah, he gets really into it, especially later on.
Do you remember when he was like meditating or some type of shit, like with a piece of wood?
I don't.
It was after that dream. She wakes up and he's like outside and he's just sitting on a log and
That's okay. Now I remember.
yeah, and he's like meditating with a stick across him.
He was like entranced by something. Like he heard or saw something in the distance and he was entranced by it. So then he was just kind of sitting very still. So she wakes up, gets out of the tent, and then sees him, and he starts asking him like, "What are you doing?" And then what does he say? Do you remember?
I do not remember what he says. But he does show her like bites on his hand or arm.
That's right. He said that he was like attacked by something.
Yeah,
and I think
yeah.
And like I think he said that it was like Cerberus,
Which is the 3-headed dog.
Yeah, they start seeing more people in the forest. Mainly these 2 hunters, which kind of like brings into thought that maybe like as they're digging deeper, it's bringing out all these demons. The movie kind of follows them for a little bit. They have their own rustic metal, scrap metal,
The Baphomet.
Beelzebub, Baphomet.
Baphomet.
Just kind of chilling there.
And it's funny. I listened to reviews of it, and they said they've seen plenty of versions of the Baphomet, but they've never seen like that version of the Baphomet. I'm just like, I guess the way they just
metal,
made
rusty.
Well, I guess just the way they made it. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
it does. I'm looking at it right now. It does have a weird style to it. Like it is sitting like on a 4-legged stick type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually
the movie
think,
wants you to pay attention to its like giant metal dick.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm actually wow, I actually did not notice that before. Yeah, you're right. There is a big giant metal dick. Yeah, there is a big giant metal dick. It kind of just stands out now.
That's all there is.
Well, looking on my TV, it's a little bit more up close. But you know what? If they actually did make that, that's a pretty fucking good job. Like, that's pretty artistic.
Oh yeah.
Like the way they made it. They even give it like the scrambling like fur. I feel like fur and metal would be tough as fuck. Right?
For 2 4 weirdos just hanging out in the forest, they did a pretty good job of making their Baphomet.
And I did notice a difference with this Baphomet is the mouth is open. Usually the mouth is not open when a Baphomet is shown.
Really?
Yeah, most Baphomets do not have a mouth open.
Just to make it more menacing. Because usually I would say that I would say that interpretations of Baphomet, they try to make it him more of a calm, reserved entity.
I do see some people that do worship Baphomet, and they're calm people, but they worship more of a calm version of a Baphomet, right? This Baphomet version is little with the mouth open.
Yeah,
that was a little different for me. Now that I look at it that way, but they still did a good job. But
that makes all the more sense later on in the movie.
Yeah,
once we actually see like what the statue really is.
I feel like we didn't talk about the bestiality. I feel like we didn't talk about the 5-second bestiality that happened.
Oh yeah, well I was getting to it.
Oh, Work your way up. Go.
Yeah, because the movie does take some time going to the hunter's site, and they do just gross weirdos hanging out in the forest.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, one of them just grabs one of the dead deer and just starts fucking it.
Yep. But from a distance, though, from a distance, whoever's gonna watch the movie, it happens from a distance. I would not be able to see that up front. It would have scarred me. But for anyone that like can handle a lot of different type of horror, that was the first bestiality. Is that what it's called? Bestiality?
Yes.
Okay, that was the first bestiality moment I've ever seen in my life. But I'm not scarred because it was from a distance, and from that distance, the director saved me from experiencing that moment too close. And it only happened probably 3 to 5 seconds, you would say, and then he was done. What's your opinion on that scene? Why the director wanted to show that, to show how gross these guys are gonna be, how dark they are?
Yeah, it was just to make them unlikable.
Because honestly, I don't see that in horror movies. It just shows how what up? I don't see that in horror movies, so I'm surprised. It's because of the setting, they're in the woods.
It's on the themes of these guys being satanic, but more on the wicked, maleficent aspects of Satanism that a lot of people view. And this movie, I feel like, taps more into that side of it, and not so much the modern day Satanism, because this is a 70s movie, so I would imagine they're playing on that kind of whole satanic panic era, even though it's more later. That's more later in the 80s or 90s.
Right.
But yeah, the hunters do end up capturing the kids.
They found their camping spot. She ends up in a cage, right? And he starts to get cooked. They're trying to cook him. She breaks out of the cage. She grabs a gun. She shoots the first guy. She breaks her brother out of the Baphomet, and then the other hunter drives off, and that's when he crashed.
So now it's going to the ending. The movie kind of does a switch on it because it makes you think that it ends in one way, but really it ends in a different way. So with the younger brother, he kind of wanders off. It doesn't show you how, but he managed to wander off into the woods without his sister knowing, and he finds a husky caught in an animal trap.
Yeah.
Probably like left by the hunters. He doesn't really say anything, but he kind of sums up the courage to go up to the husky and set him free, and then I think he just kind of runs off, but he feels better about himself. And the way I kind of felt was that he was freaking out earlier about seeing Cerberus, the demon dog. He's gonna get us because we're digging to hell.
Yeah,
but it's kind of a nice kind of relieving start to ending the movie, overcoming the fear of his dog's soul burning forever in hell.
That's that cinematic feel. He's looking at the dog looks at him, and then the dog runs away. Yeah, and I'm just thinking, I totally thought that would be his new dog. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Now he's sitting here with the trap in his hand, and he's looking back at the camera and he's smiling.
Yeah, because
it goes the end.
That's right. But to get back to it, because he went on this camping trip, he wanted to set his dog's soul free from hell. Yeah. But he got scared. Yeah. And then at the end, and after facing literally real life human evil demons, as these hunters, he manages to at least make it out alive so that he can release this other dog that was trapped by them. And going back to what I said earlier about him being scared that Cerberus was going to come out to get him, he kind of sums up the courage to overcome that, because that probably was the dog that might have attacked him earlier, but he was just too freaked out.
Yeah,
and didn't really see it. So it ends on like, oh, he's smiling at the camera. It says the end. And you're just like, oh, well, that's kind of nice. Like, oh, it ends there. Well, what happened to the sister? And then it just cuts immediately to her. Her ending is way totally the opposite. She's in her tent. She's freaking out. She's trying to call out for her younger brother, but for some reason, he doesn't hear her or doesn't really say or anything. But she has the gun that she found and starts aiming it out, and I think the movie just ends right there. Yeah, I don't think you actually hear any gunshot or see anything, but it's kind of presumed that she actually kills her younger brother. And that's the movie. And then the movie ends with more interviews talking about all like the did you catch all the subliminal messages in the movie? And I remember we were talking about like, oh, they should make a YouTube video of all the subliminal messages and count how many there actually are.
Right.
The interviews at the end of the movie, they actually did that for us. They said that there was 170 symbols in total throughout the movie. And then that's where the movie ends. So what did you think of Antrum, the deadliest film ever made?
I had fun with it. When it comes down to making something scary, they did okay. The 70s vibe was great. The demons hiding in the bushes was great. I loved it somehow. I like low key loved it. I don't give it a low. I give it a low rating, but we have to also look at too the director. Like this was only his like potential second movie. Apparently, he made a movie in 2006. It has no ratings on it, but like that was 2006, and this is like his like. Let's call this his first movie.
Feature length.
Like to build us even talking about it right now for your first movie. That's great. I love that shit. Is there more mockumentary films?
Yeah. Did I ever show you What We Do in the Shadows?
What We Do in the Shadows. Okay, so that's a mockumentary?
Yeah, because it's a documentary about vampires like living in society.
That's successful, right? Yeah. How many mockumentaries can you make that are successful? Probably not too many, right?
Not too many, yeah.
This movie did a good job trying to do that.
It did okay.
I know there will be better in the future. But this is a good start. This is a good start. You know what I mean?
It's a good start. But like the way I see it, the actual cursed movie could have actually been much more cursed, especially compared to movies coming out around that time. It was too straightforward, I feel like. It seemed like it was trying to make itself like a foreign movie, but it didn't really feel that way. I wouldn't make the argument that because it was a 70s movie that you couldn't make a supposed cursed movie interesting, but there are movies with literally zero budgets, like Eraserhead or The Holy Mountain, where there's so much going on creatively with just showing you weird shit that's not just let's just cut to the black and white footage of a couple naked in like a bathroom or something, or having edit in pentagrams or Latin phrases just throughout the whole movie. Like, didn't they say like it was like 170 symbols at the end of the movie?
170
for subliminal messages.
Yep.
It just becomes overkill at that point because
I love how somebody spent that much time counting the symbols. That's
well, they did it for the movie.
That's what's great. That's what's great about people. At sometimes we need a count symbol. We need a symbol count of every fucking symbol we saw.
Having this coding around it as that this movie is deadly because this movie is deadly because we gave it that tagline. It doesn't really feel like you're watching a cursed movie.
Yeah.
It has all this, satanic imagery in it, but it doesn't feel cursed. Other than that, I thought it was a pretty okay movie.
So what do you want to rate it out of 10?
Rate it, overall, I would have to like give it a 5 out of 10. Once you actually get to the movie, the actual narrative, it was interesting to watch, but but there was too much bringing it down. You know, I was really intrigued by the premise, and also just to see like how much of it is going to be documentary, how much of it is going to be found footage movie, because I remember it reminded me of when we went to go see Phoenix Forgotten.
Oh yeah,
which is the alien kind of like, that's another kind of mockumentary too, found footage movie.
Was that a mockumentary?
Yeah, because the first hour of it,
I took that shit to heart.
Yeah,
I took that as a true story.
Oh yeah, because it was based on something.
You tell me it's all fake.
Yeah, sorry, Trevor.
God damn it! Oh my god! Ah!
But
now I gotta tell my mom. I'm just kidding. Shit.
But
go ahead.
Because the first hour was like a documentary. It kept talking about these group of kids that went out to the desert to record UFOs, but they never got found. It's just kind of like going over like, well, what happened to them? Where did they go? Why did they go? And then like in the last 20 minutes, they're like, okay, we'll show you what they recorded. And then the last 20 minutes is just like footage of them getting camping out and then getting abducted. But I was relieved when we watched Antrum that it was mostly just the movie, the cursed movie, and we only got like the little segments of documentary in the beginning and end, which really, you know, kind of like made them irrelevant. But you know, it was there to kind of buffer the movie out, I guess.
Yeah, it did.
What would you rate Antrum?
I want to give it a strong 7 because only because like it was. I watched a lot of films and I know I'm still trying to understand them, but like it pickpocket me, and that's the one. That's the word I want to use right now when it comes to movies. Is this one? It pickpocket me, and like it found certain spots, it hit or miss other spots, but it made its point in other spots. It my favorite word when it comes down to it being different. It was very different.
Unique.
It was very unique. Like, yes.
It was unique enough. It was unique enough for you to enjoy it.
Like, I didn't learn about the word mockumentary until this fucking movie. Like, I didn't know there was other mockumentaries out here until this movie. So, that's one thing. It taught me that word, mockumentary, which you had to tell me. I'm proud of the director for even doing that. I like, fuck the, like, low ratings that's on IMDb.com right now. Because I give him more respect because, like, he did his thing. He tried something and it worked.
Oh yeah.
And like you're not gonna get the greatest ratings on your first fucking movie, but you made people talk about it, and that's what I admire. Like you made people talk about your movie. Adding a tagline can make so much of a difference, but this is a bold statement to make. So I'm gonna all in all, I give it a 7 out of 10. Most people might disagree with me, but I like my solid 7. I'm gonna go with a 7 out of 10. Yeah. All right, so that's the wrap of Antrum.
Yep.
Watch the movie. It's great.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and check it out. I'd say it's definitely worth checking out.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That'll do it for this episode of Monolith de Mythos. check out our next episode when we'll be reviewing the new Shudder exclusive Blood Machines.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been like waiting for that to come out for a long time. I remember, I think you showed me the trailer to it last summer even.
Yeah, probably.
And it was just so, it looked so, it was just oozing with style. So I'm very excited for that one.
With the trailer, it took so long, I didn't even know if it was going to become a movie anymore.
Exactly. Like, when is this coming out?
You thought I showed you a joke. It took so fucking long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these things take time, but luckily it's made its home on Shudder, so I think they'll.
All right, guys. Antrum, my review. Go watch it. Give it one time. Watch it. Love it. If you know it, love it. You experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me.
But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in, and be sure to check us out next time.